You may want to sit down. I'm afraid I have some bad news, said the doctor. 12 months ago, you were able to read the fourth row, and now you can't even make out the top letter. But I'm afraid it gets worse, said Dr. Shah. I gripped my wife's hand in mine as he brought up the results of Lindsay's retinal scan on his computer. I'm terribly sorry, Mrs. Campbell, he said, but it seems that you have severe macular degeneration in both eyes, and it's the most aggressive I've ever seen. Well, how long do I have, my wife asked. Well, if I'm being brutally honest, said Dr. Shah, showing no signs of emotion, looking at these scans, I'd be amazed if you're not completely blind within the next 6 months. 6 months, I screamed. Lindsay's face dropped, she went deathly white, and neither of us could believe what we were hearing. A few minutes earlier, my wife had walked into the clinic expecting, as usual, to get nothing more than a higher prescription, but instead, in just the space of a few short months, she was now facing the prospect of living the rest of her life in complete darkness. The light literally extinguished from her life forever. Thoughts had raced through her mind as she imagined the bleakest of futures. No longer being able to see the smiles on her children's faces, the beautiful color of their eyes, or enjoy the sight of them growing up and becoming adults. And then there were the simple things, like reading a book, watching her favorite TV shows, driving a car, or even seeing her own face in the mirror. Her entire world was about to be plunged into endless darkness. So as the realization set in, Lindsay looked at me and just broke down in tears. And I felt ashamed that I hadn't done something earlier when I knew that her sight was failing her. Angry because I believed the optometrists and the eye care experts who kept telling us that everything was fine and all she needed was stronger glasses. All I wanted to do was find a way out, but I couldn't. I just felt helpless. And in a few months, my wife would be blind. There was nothing I could do to stop it. So why am I sharing this story with you today? Well, because receiving this devastating news marked the beginning of a life-changing journey. A journey that would uncover the real cause of vision loss, hidden from you your entire life by a corrupt and dishonest optometry industry whose entire business model relies on your eyes continually getting worse. Now, despite what you've been told, your deteriorating vision has nothing to do with computer use, close reading, genetics, or even the aging process. But instead, it's all down to two little-known nutrients produced by your own body, which are being ruthlessly killed off in every visually impaired person on Earth. And by using a simple 2-minute trick, known only to this small Aboriginal Army unit stationed deep in the Australian outback, you can reverse this process completely. It's a discovery that not only saved my wife from certain blindness, but restored her eyesight to nearly 20/20 perfection in just less than 3 weeks, enabling her to enjoy a level of clarity and sharpness she hasn't experienced since she was a child. And best of all, she was able to do it 100% naturally, simply, and easily using inexpensive ingredients picked up at our local grocery store. Backed by countless peer-reviewed medical studies from around the world, the clinically proven and highly controversial vision-restoring secret that I'm about to reveal, it's been shown to repair and regenerate dying cells in the retina and the macula. And in doing so, reverse the world's most common causes of vision loss and blindness, such as macular degeneration, glaucoma, cataracts, astigmatism, corneal visual impairment, diabetic retinopathy, and even near and far-sightedness. In fact, this pioneering natural treatment has now been used by 51,297 people and counting. It's had remarkable success stories being reported every day. And the best part is, it will work for you whether you're male or female, 9 or 90 years old, if you've been experiencing vision loss for 60 minutes or 60 years. If you have minor visual impairment or you can barely see a thing. In fact, whatever your current situation is, by the end of this presentation, you're going to know exactly what you need to do to reverse years of deteriorating vision and start seeing everything the world has to offer in all its crystal clear, unobstructed glory once again. But before I reveal any more, it's absolutely crucial that you keep watching until the very end while you still have a chance, because I honestly don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to keep this presentation online. The $36 billion eye care industry is trying every trick in the book to shut me down and keep you in the dark. Because what I'm about to reveal is set to destroy their corrupt and dishonest business model overnight. So listen up, because time is running out. If you've noticed that your eyesight keeps getting worse, and you don't know why. If you're concerned about whether the deterioration will ever stop and you would like to put the brakes on before you lose your eyesight completely and become a burden to your family, If you ever get embarrassed or frustrated at your inability to read or see things properly, if you like the idea of saving thousands of dollars on future eye care costs, and if you're experiencing blurry vision, blind spots, floaters, specs, or any kind of issue with your vision that just simply shouldn't be there, and if you want a scientifically proven way to correct your failing eyesight and achieve perfect 20/20 vision in as little as 3 weeks, then stay right where you are for just a couple of more minutes and listen to every single word of this presentation, because I promise you, you can restore your eyesight with nothing more than this delicious green smoothie. Yeah, it really is that easy. Now, in the next few minutes, I'm not only going to reveal the simple Outback-inspired ingredients that go into this smoothie, but the amazing story of how I came to stumble upon them. A discovery which, as I speak, has already transformed the vision and lives of tens of thousands of people across the world. But of course, I don't want you to simply take my word for it. Instead, take a look at what Carrie had to say after implementing this secret.
Hi, my name is Carrie McKinney, and I live in Craddockville, Virginia. I'm 62 years old, and I've worn glasses since I was 11. I must have spent thousands of dollars on glasses and contact lenses during my life. Every couple of years, I'd need a stronger prescription, and it got to the point where I was a minus 8.75 in my left eye and a minus 8.5 in my right. But a few years, things started to get worse. I was diagnosed with macular degeneration, and I was told that I'd soon lose my vision entirely. It was a really tough period of my life to face that prospect head on. And as a mother of 4, I knew that time was now more precious than ever. I just wanted to spend every single minute with my kids while I could still see them, look into their eyes, and watch them grow. I used to love going to the movies with my youngest, and it broke my heart to think that we wouldn't be able to share that anymore. My eldest daughter was getting married in a year's time. Would I even be able to see her in her dress walking down the aisle? Probably not. But apparently there was nothing I could do. And that's what I believed, until I heard about this strange protocol all the way from the Australian outback. I was skeptical, but I gave it a shot, and I am so glad I did. Within 9 days, my macula began to repair itself, and I dropped a whole prescription point. After around 2 weeks, I was down to a minus 4. And after 30 days, I was reading lines on the eye chart that I'd literally never seen before. I've been absolutely stunned at the speed that this has worked, and wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes. This protocol hasn't just given me back my sight, it's given me back my life, and I will be eternally grateful for that.
Okay, in just a few minutes from now, I'm going to reveal the real hidden cause of your vision loss and show you the scientific evidence that proves beyond all doubt that any deterioration in your vision can not only be stopped, but actually reversed simply by adding a simple smoothing to your daily meal plan. But before I get to that, let me introduce myself properly. Hi, my name is Bill Campbell. I'm 52 years old, and I'm a retired sergeant in the United States Marine Corps. I have spent my entire adult life in battle, and my experience of combat is actually good news for you. Because although you don't know it, your entire life has been spent waging war against a hidden enemy that's been destroying your vision from the inside out, and you're still losing. Now, fortunately for you, a bizarre chain of events handed me the weapon I needed to defeat this invisible vision killer for good and save my wife's eyesight. And it will do the same for you too. So how did I do it? Well, let me tell you a story which begins almost 2 years ago. Back then, what I knew about eye health, you could pretty much fit on a postage stamp. I mean, after all, I never needed glasses myself, but my wife has. She's worn glasses and contact lenses for years, and despite the fact that her vision kept getting worse, she wasn't worried. Till one sunny day in June when everything changed. It was the evening of our youngest daughter Jasmine's ballet recital, and Lindsay had been looking forward to it for weeks. She had been complaining about seeing black spots or the floaters in her eye for a while, but she had just put it down to stress. We were in the middle of moving our house, and there was no way she was going to miss the recital. So that evening, we sat in our seats, ready to watch our daughters dance, as Clara is one of the main roles in the Nutcracker. Well, Lindsay seemed to be constantly rubbing her eyes as Jasmine hopped onto the stage, but I thought nothing of it. Our daughter was so graceful and beautiful, I couldn't have felt any more pride in our little girl. I turned to my wife. I said, "She's amazing." I had this huge beaming smile. But Lindsay wasn't smiling. In fact, she looked terrified. And I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "I can't see her, Bill." And she had tears streaming down her cheeks. Lindsay was distraught. She could barely see a thing. And apparently, her central vision was being covered by a huge black blurry cloud which was blocking everything from view, including our daughter. So the next day we booked her in for an emergency appointment at the optometrist, who gave us the devastating news. My wife was going blind. And as it turned out, she was suffering from severe macular degeneration. Unsure exactly what it was, the doctor explained to us that the macula is that small area in the center of the retina. It's also the part of the eye that controls central vision. So if the macula deteriorates, you literally can't see anything in front of you, which means you can't read, watch TV, drive a car, recognize your loved ones' faces, or do pretty much anything at all. And in Lindsay's case, the macula in both of her eyes was deteriorating fast. The cells were literally dying. And in the doctor's own words, it was the most aggressive case he had ever seen. Now, if you think that this won't happen to you, think again. According to a study carried out by the Wilmer Eye Institute, the number of blind people in the U.S. alone is projected to increase by a massive 70% by 2020, with a similar rise projected for low vision. And the reason for this sudden increase is down to a shocking new discovery in the real cause of vision loss, which I'll be revealing in just a moment. So with my wife running out of time and unable to do much for herself, I immediately began looking into what we could do to reverse her vision loss, or at least put the brakes on. And eventually an old friend put me in touch with an ophthalmologist, which is a medical doctor specializing in the anatomy and physiology of the eye. And that's when I discovered another startling truth. Peter, as I'll call him because he asked to remain anonymous, had a real dislike of the optometry industry. And it was because, in his own words, the whole industry was a giant and deliberate fraud, which makes billions every year not by helping to improve vision, but by actively making it worse. As Peter explained, from the moment you notice a problem with your vision, you're encouraged to see an optometrist, who then recommends that you start wearing glasses to correct your vision. Sounds familiar, right? But the big problem here is that from this moment on, your vision is destined to only get worse, not better, because your eyes become trapped in a vicious cycle of dependency that you can never escape from. I mean, after all, when was the last time you went in for an eye test and your optometrist lowered your prescription? It never happens, right? Because your eyes will only ever get weaker and less effective by wearing corrective lenses like glasses or contacts. Think about it. What happens when you break your leg and use crutches? The muscles in your legs waste away because you're not using them, right? Well, the eyes are exactly the same. Corrective lenses are not a solution, they're just a crutch. All they do is treat the symptoms. They never attempt to get the root cause of the problem in order to actually make your eyesight better, because that would destroy their business model. But despite this immoral practice, corrective lenses are by no means the main cause of your vision loss, not by a long shot, in fact. Now, in just a second, I'm going to reveal the number one culprit and a simple way to restore your vision to 20/20 clarity in as little as 21 days. But before I reveal any more, I want to quickly return to Lindsay's story, and you'll understand why in just a minute. So, after speaking to Peter, it was now clear to me that glasses or contact lenses weren't the solution, and they never were. Plus, with Lindsay's vision so far gone, they were no longer an option anyway. We needed something more radical. And that's when I started looking into the surgical option, or LASIK. I'd always thought surgery was a proven or safe option, but after delving into it, I discovered that it's anything but. According to the latest figures, 1 in 20 people suffer complications from corrective surgery, ranging from halos and starbursts around lights at night, painful and itchy dry eye and blurred and distorted vision, to a detached retina, optic nerve damage, and corneal buckling, which can lead to blindness. In fact, a massive 40% of cases of people are left with a steadily weakening cornea. Hundreds of thousands of people have reported complications from this surgery. Many lives have been ruined, with at least 7 Americans known to have committed suicide because of surgical procedures gone horribly wrong. After researching all the different types of eye surgery, there was absolutely no way I was going to let my wife anywhere near a laser if I could help it. This was definitely a last resort, and at around $5,000, we could barely afford it anyway. There just had to be a better way. And that's when I started to read about eye exercises. But within minutes, it became clear to me that products pushing silly little exercises would have no effect on my wife's condition, which was macular degeneration. And it was obvious that they wouldn't help any other type of vision loss either. In fact, more and more research shows that the eye exercises not only fail to improve vision, but actually make it worse because they increase eye strain. It's one of the main things you need to avoid. Now, by now, a few days had gone by and I was no nearer to finding a solution, and Lindsay was seriously struggling to see. She hated the fact that she was losing her independence and was scared about the future. She was terrified about the prospect of not being able to see our children or even see her own face in the mirror. She talked about moving into an assisted living care home because she didn't want to be a burden to me or the kids. As the days or weeks wore on, Lindsay became more and more depressed. And that's when I discovered something that chilled me to the bone. I'm embarrassed to share this with you, but I feel that I have to. Using Lindsay's laptop one night, I stumbled on some of her Google searches. Best ways to kill yourself, said one query. Painless suicide was another. I had no idea Lindsay was feeling that low, and my eyes just filled up with tears. I was desperate to help her, but I didn't know how. The future looked bleak. But that very night, I received a phone call that would change everything. Not that I knew it at the time. Now, I've always believed in God, and I prayed to him practically every night for weeks, asking him to help Lindsay. And I firmly believe that what happened next is proof that he was listening. The call came from my staff sergeant, who told me that I was to join a team of U.S. Marines on a joint training exercise in the Australian outback. It was designed to improve surveillance techniques, and we were to work alongside Australia's Northwest Mobile Force, otherwise known as Norforce Unit. It's a specialist surveillance team made up of Aboriginal reservists who patrol the outback in search of drug smugglers, human traffickers, asylum seekers, and illegal foreign fishing vessels. And with Lindsay's condition, the timing could not have been worse, or so I thought. But unable to do anything about it, I set off for Australia, leaving my mother-in-law and brother in charge of Lindsay's safety. I hated leaving her. But as it turned out, the Norforce unit would provide the answer to my prayers, and in the strangest of ways. You see, on the third day of the training exercise, 9 Marines, including myself, were teamed with an Aboriginal soldier called Bungie. Now, we were in camouflage, and Bungie was teaching us some old Aboriginal surveillance techniques when he suddenly stopped dead in his tracks. See that? He had said, looking towards the water. See what? None of us could see a thing. It's a vessel, he replied. I grabbed my binoculars, I peered through, and there it was. A small boat way off in the distance. I could barely see it even with the binoculars in front of my eyes, and I couldn't understand how the heck Bungie had seen it. It was like spotting a grain of rice in the middle of a farmer's field. Well, he radioed his unit, and within minutes, a 12-man team of Norforce soldiers were on the beach ready to intercept the vessel as it came to shore. The soldiers detained the 4 men on board, and hidden beneath the seats was 2,000 pounds of cocaine worth an estimated $14 million. I mean, it was the biggest drug bust ever recorded by the Norforce unit, and I was there to see it with my own eyes. But of course, I didn't care about the drugs. All I cared about was how Bungie had seen the vessel from so far away, when not a single U.S. Marine could. Even though all of us had 20/20 vision, that's when I got the breakthrough that I've been praying for. After quizzing Bungie about it, I discovered, to my amazement, that the eyesight of the Aboriginal people in outback Australia is up to 4 times better than ours. And this ability has become known as supersight. According to Professor Hugh Taylor from the University of Melbourne's Indigenous Eye Health Unit, who had pioneered studies into supersight, the vision of the Aboriginal people is better than anybody else in the world. The question was, why? I was desperate to know if it was genetic or maybe something else. So that night, I took Bungie to one side and I told him all about my wife's condition, her suicidal thoughts, and that she didn't have long until she lost her sight completely. If you know anything that can help her, please tell me, I pleaded. Bungie smiled, patted me on the shoulder, and told me to wait where I was. A few minutes later, he returned with a notepad and a pencil and began to scribble down what looked like a recipe, complete with a list of strange foods, most of which I had never even heard of. What's this? I asked him. I was looking down at the list. The secret you've been searching for, he said. He had a glint in his eye. Our supersight is all down to the land we live on, he continued mysteriously. This recipe has been in my family for generations, he said. Eat these foods and your wife will recover. And with that, Bungie stood up, gave me a knowing smile, and then rejoined his unit. Never saw him again. The minute I returned home to the US, I began researching the ingredients in Bungie's recipe. The first was something that was called warrigal spinach. What the heck was that, I was thinking. But according to countless studies, any type of spinach, including the warrigal variety that the Aborigines are brought up on, contains two very special nutrients that have been clinically proven to produce dramatic and long-lasting improvements in eye health, reduce the risk of vision loss, and even reverse it completely. Those two nutrients are called lutein and zeaxanthin, and they can easily be found in spinach, kale, eggs, and a variety of other foods. I'd never heard of these nutrients in my life, so I looked into them some more, and what I found was shocking. There were trials upon trials, including the Age-Related Eye Disease Study, or AREDS, the gold standard study into vision loss carried out by the National Eye Institute. It proved beyond any doubt that lutein and zeaxanthin are absolutely essential to vision. In fact, they're the two most important nutrients to eat because they're exactly what our eyes need to ward off vision problems like macular degeneration, cataracts, glaucoma, and even near and farsightedness. The ARED study found that people diagnosed with early AMD who ate those two nutrients were 25 to 30% less likely to go on to develop advanced AMD, while they're also reducing their risk of developing central vision loss by 19%. Another study of the elderly Finnish population, published in the British Journal of Nutrition, reported that high plasma concentrations of lutein and zeaxanthin reduced the risk of age-related cataracts by a massive 41%. And that's great news. I mean, considering age-related cataracts are one of the leading causes of visual impairment just in the United States, with the number of Americans likely to be affected set to increase to an estimated 30 million by 2020. So how do these nutrients work? Well, this is where things get really interesting. Breakthrough studies into vision loss, including those carried out by the University of Kentucky and the University of Florida, have finally uncovered the real cause of vision loss, and it's not what you think. Apparently, from the day you're born, the retina and the macula in your eyes are under constant attack from harmful blue and ultraviolet light. This creates something called oxidative stress that then generates harmful free radicals, which are basically the bad guys that destroy the DNA in your cells. But here's the thing. Within the macula is the macular pigment, whose job it is to filter out or kill off these free radicals, preventing any damage to the macula itself, the retina, lens, cornea, and optic nerve. And the macular pigment is made up of primarily two crucial antioxidants. And guess what they are? Right, lutein and zeaxanthin. That's right, these good guys have always been there in your eyes. And they have one purpose in life, is to get rid of the toxic free radicals that build up in your eyes, attack the DNA cells, and destroy your vision. In short, your eyes need lutein and zeaxanthin like your lungs need oxygen. Your eyes simply can't function without them. But get this, the human body cannot synthesize lutein or zeaxanthin on its own. The only way to get either of them is through food. The problem is, according to the ARED study, most Americans only get 10% of the lutein and zeaxanthin they need. That means you don't have anywhere near enough of these nutrients in your macula to maintain your eyesight. And because the standard American diet is so short in these two eyesight protectors, your levels have actually been dwindling since childhood. You see, this is the real cause of your vision loss. It's not close reading or computer use. It's not genetics. It's not the aging process. It's free radical damage. Your vision has been continually deteriorating because for decades, toxic free radicals have been left to wreak havoc on your macula, retina, lens, cornea, and even your optic nerve. But don't go out and gorge on spinach just yet, because that's not even half the story and not enough on its own to win the war against free radical damage and give you that crystal clear vision of your childhood. You see, second on Bungie's list of vision restorers was shellfish, which the Aborigines eat in abundance. And as I discovered, the food contains something equally as beneficial to eye health, a primary structural component of the retina called DHA, which has been proven to improve eyesight and dramatically reduce the risk of macular degeneration. According to a recent study that took place at the Centre for Eye Research at the University of Melbourne in Australia, high dietary intake of this nutrient was associated with a massive 38% reduction in the risk of AMD. And there was more. The recipe included kangaroo meat, a staple in the Aboriginal diet for centuries. And after researching this, I discovered a 7-year clinical study which revealed that out of 5,400 patients, those who received a combination of 3 specific vitamins found in kangaroo meat had an average 34% lower risk of contracting any form of AMD than those who received the placebo. And it didn't stop there. Bungie's recipe included a range of Aboriginal fruits, vegetables, herbs, berries, seeds, other completely natural ingredients, including the quandong fruit, the kakadu plums, bush tomatoes, and pigweed seeds. Now, after researching that entire list, I discovered that together, the recipe contained 8 essential antioxidants, clinically proven to improve eyesight, reverse vision loss, and protect against devastating eye disease like macular degeneration, cataracts, and even near and far sightedness. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I mean, here was completely natural ingredients that had been scientifically proven to reverse vision loss, yet not a single optometrist had ever told my wife anything about them. All they wanted to do was keep selling her expensive glasses and contact lenses. Well, I was now more determined than ever to not only restore Lindsay's vision, but help millions of others too, so no one would ever have to need to wear glasses ever again. But there was a problem. Although finding spinach wasn't difficult, once I got home, locating high-quality kangaroo meat, quandong fruit, kakadu plums, bush tomatoes, and pigweed seeds, it was almost impossible. Now, naturally, most of them could only be found in the Australian outback, and there was no way I could get these foods shipped over every week. The cost would just be enormous. I needed a plan B. So I reasoned that if I could take Bungie's original recipe, break it down, and then uncover some local foods which contain the same antioxidants in the exact same amounts while applying modern science and technology to the new formulation, I would be able to create a recipe even more powerful than Bungie's and give Lindsay a real shot at restoring her vision. But of course, without any medical training or experience, I needed help. And I got it in the form of David Lancaster. He's a dedicated independent medical researcher with over 26 years of experience. And as it turned out, David had a personal interest in what I was doing. His own mother had advanced macular degeneration and could barely see anymore. And he was passionate about finding a treatment that could save her sight. David was as generous as he could be, but it still took all of my savings and a series of loans from kind-hearted friends and family in order to fund more than 5 months of painstaking research. It included hundreds of different formulas which were continually tested and trialed on mice. But eventually, David and I developed a series of delicious, all-American smoothie recipes containing the exact same nutrients and vitamins found in Bungie's ancient Aboriginal recipe, which, when consumed on their own, would have little effect on eyesight, but when they're combined and drunk on a daily basis, produced remarkable results. In fact, thanks to David Lancaster's knowledge, the final recipes we created were up to 3 times more powerful than those consumed by Bungie and his family. Nothing like this had ever been attempted before in the history of eye care, and I literally couldn't wait to get started. And the best part was, because these unique formulations were completely natural instead of a drug, we didn't have to submit our treatment to the FDA and potentially wait years for approval. Instead, we just needed one willing patient to put the protocol to the test, and of course, that patient was Lindsay. The next morning, I visited our local grocery store to pick up all the ingredients that we needed. I also bought an eye chart for the kitchen with the exact same size and lettering as the one used by Lindsay's optometrist, and attached it to the wall about 20 feet from the kitchen table so we could test an improvement in her vision each morning. After 5 days of following the recipes, there was little change. Lindsay was still unable to make out even the top letter on the chart, and I was starting to doubt all the research I had uncovered. But David had warned us that changes might not be noticeable right away, and that it would take time to break down the buildup of toxic free radicals that had taken root like a virus in Lindsay's eyes. But then, on day 9, something remarkable happened. As we sat eating breakfast, Lindsay suddenly looked at me across the table and said, "It's an E." She was talking about the eye chart that was on the kitchen wall. She could actually read it. I took one look at her huge beaming smile, and I leapt across the table and hugged her. From that moment on, the improvement in her vision was beyond anything I could have ever imagined. Each morning her vision was becoming clearer, sharper, and less cloudy. She stopped bumping into things. She could actually make out small objects like lamps and picture frames from across the room. The black spots, the floaters in her vision, began to disappear. With every day that passed, her mood and outlook on life began to change for the better. Instead of being constantly depressed and suicidal, she was happy and excited. Every morning, she jumped out of bed, sprinted downstairs like a kid on Christmas morning, desperate to test her vision against the eye chart in the kitchen. And by day 14, she could read the second from top row on the eye chart. On day 17, she could make out the middle row. It was like a blindfold was gradually dissolving in front of her eyes, and her future, which had seemed so bleak, was now full of renewed hope and opportunity. But the best was yet to come. Day 21. It was a sunny Saturday morning, and I'll remember it forever. I woke up to the loudest scream I've ever heard. I was terrified. I instinctively reached for my handgun on the nightstand until the screams turned to laughter. Well, I ran down the stairs. I turned into the kitchen where I saw Lindsay staring towards the eye chart, and she had her hand over her mouth. Tears were running down her cheeks just like they were on the evening of our daughter's dance recital. But this time, they weren't tears of panic or fear. They were tears of happiness and unbridled joy. Lindsay could actually read the tiny line at the bottom of the eye chart from 20 feet away, which I could barely see myself. This is the line that optometrists use to judge 20/20 vision. Neither of us could believe it. After being told to prepare to spend the rest of her life blind to the world and everything in it, Lindsay now had 20/20 vision, and it only took 21 days. I was desperate to get the recipes out to as many people as possible, but David warned me that one person wasn't proof that the formula worked. And he was right. It may have worked for Lindsay, but would it work for everyone? I had to know for sure. So I came up with a plan. I decided to post adverts online in local newspapers asking for volunteers who might be willing to put our vision protocol to the test. Well, after about 4 days, we had 127 people suffering from varying degrees of vision loss, desperate to take part in the trial. The results were even more spectacular than we'd even dreamed. Without exception, and within a maximum of 32 days, all 127 volunteers reported dramatic improvements in their vision. 93% of participants achieved 20/20 vision. The other 7% just fell short, but we were no less overjoyed at the transformation that they had achieved. I received emails, phone calls, and text messages from people just overwhelmed by the changes. They were desperate to thank me. This was it. We had actually done it. We had developed a natural, clinically proven treatment for reversing even the worst cases of visual impairment that would also protect against devastating eye diseases and blindness for life. After seeing the effect that vision loss had on my own wife, I have made it my mission to ensure that no one else has to suffer like she did. This protocol works, and I'm excited to say that the scandalous statistics about vision loss and blindness are about to change forever. Remember, due to the toxic environment we now live in, which includes everything from the food we eat to the water we drink to the air we breathe, our eyes are being relentlessly attacked by damaging and poisonous free radicals on a daily basis. And as a result, the number of blind people in the US alone is projected to increase by a massive 70% by 2020. And there's a high chance you could become part of that statistic if you don't do anything to stop it. But the most shocking thing of all is that the optometry industry continues to try to blind you to the truth by falsely claiming that glasses and contacts are the only way to deal with your vision loss, when in reality, all they do is make your eyesight worse. Well, today, things are finally about to change. With David Lancaster's help, I've created a clinically proven and all-natural protocol that will allow you to achieve crystal clear 20/20 super sight with no corrective lenses, no dangerous surgery, and no ridiculous eye exercises, and do it in as little as 21 days. And I've called it the Outback Vision Protocol. Instead of treating the symptoms of vision loss like the optometry industry has been doing for centuries, this unique and groundbreaking protocol treats the root cause, free radical damage, by feeding your eyes the 8 crucial antioxidants they need to destroy those free radicals and restore your vision to crystal clear perfection in just a matter of days. This completely natural protocol has already transformed the eyesight and lives of 51,297 people, and it will achieve the same spectacular results for you too. Now, before I reveal exactly what you're going to get in the Outback Vision protocol, let's take a look at what Ron had to say.
Hi, my name is Ron Butler. I'm 69 years old and I live in Nichols, Wisconsin. I've had pretty bad eyesight for as long as I can remember, and I've always hated wearing glasses. In high school, I used to get teased and called four eyes and names like that, and it affected my confidence a lot. Later in life, things got a lot worse. 2 years ago, I started to notice my central vision was distorted, like someone had smudged my glasses with a dirty finger. It got to the point where I couldn't read, drive, or even work. The doctor told me there was nothing I could do, that it was irreversible. Thank God he was wrong. 2 weeks after following Bill's protocol, I noticed that my vision was clearer already. There's an orange tree my wife and I planted outside our bedroom window years ago, and every morning I'd wake up, jump out of bed, and see how much more of it I could see. Before it was just a blur, but now I could see the oranges, the leaves, the branches, and the birds. It was the best feeling I ever had in my life. 4 weeks on and my eyesight couldn't be better. I no longer need glasses for the first time in like 40 years. And every day I'm amazed that this was even possible. So if you're sitting there thinking about trying this, I'm here to tell you, stop thinking and just do it. It will be the best thing you ever do.
Okay, so what exactly are you going to get in the Outback Vision protocol? Well, first of all, I'm going to send you the Outback Vision protocol Fast Start Guide. And there you'll find everything you need to know to achieve and maintain 20/20 vision for the rest of your life, including the truth about free radicals, the real cause of vision loss, the ancient Aboriginal foods that inspired my research, and the secret behind their extraordinary supersight, the common toxic foods to avoid if you want to stop feeding the free radicals that are eating away at your eyes and destroying your vision, why corrective lenses like glasses and contacts are nothing but a crutch and will not only fail to improve your vision, but they will actually make it worse. Plus all of the simple, natural, and inexpensive foods proven to flush free radicals from your retina and macula, reverse vision loss, and restore your eyes to 20/20 clarity in as little as 21 days. But that's not even the best part. As well as the main guide, you will also receive your 21-day protocol consisting of the Essential 8. In this step-by-step and easy-to-follow resource, you'll be given 21 of my most powerful and effective smoothie recipes, with each one meticulously designed so that it's packed full of the 8 essential antioxidants that your eyes need, and in the precise amounts and combinations that are proven to produce the best possible results in our patient trials. And the delicious twist is that these ingredients are not only incredible for your eyes, but beneficial for your brain, heart, your waistline, energy levels, and so much more. So you'll be improving the overall health at the same time. These great tasting recipes, which take no more than a couple of minutes to whip up, cover breakfast, lunch, dinner for a full 3 weeks. And all you need to do is just follow the protocol and drink the smoothies daily as instructed to achieve the same dramatic improvements in your vision that Lindsay and thousands of others have already been able to achieve. And the best part is, there's no need to completely change your diet or even starve yourself. All you need to do is simply add these smoothies to your existing meals, or you can use them as a meal replacement, and each and every ingredient can be picked up for just a few pennies from your local grocery store. I mean, it really is that simple. And you can get access to everything in the next 90 seconds. Now, before you get started, you probably want to know how much it is, right? Well, it's a good question, but let me ask you this. How much is your eyesight really worth to you? $10,000? $5,000? I mean, can you really put a price tag on your vision and a protocol guaranteed to improve, protect, and maintain it for the rest of your life? Whatever figure you have in mind, you know as well as I do that taking action today and investing in future health and longevity of your eyesight will be one of the best investments you could ever make. By doing nothing, on the other hand, you'll inevitably be forced to spend hundreds and possibly even thousands of dollars over the course of your lifetime on eye tests, new prescriptions, a new set of glasses every few years, and contact lenses, plus all the equipment that comes with them. I mean, it all adds up. And don't forget, corrective lenses do nothing to treat the root cause of vision loss. They can't stop the toxic free radical buildup that's destroying your eyesight. And as your vision continues to get worse, which it inevitably will, the chances of you losing your sight completely are far higher than you'd like to admit. Remember, unchecked free radical damage means that the number of blind people in the US alone is projected to increase by a massive 70% by 2020, and that number will continue to rise. This will not only destroy your life and place a huge burden on your loved ones, but it will wreck your bank balance too. A recent study by Research America, a nonprofit public education alliance, found that a blind person who has their sight restored would save a whopping $214,000 over their lifetime in indirect costs alone, such as long-term care. This is the very real and frankly terrifying future that you could be faced with if you decide to do nothing and you just leave your eyes into the hands of the eye care industry, who, ironically, don't care about your eyes at all. They just simply want to make as much money out of you as they can. So, let me ask you again. How much would you pay for a chance to achieve 20/20 vision in as little as 21 days and protect your eyesight for the rest of your life? Well, let me tell you that David Lancaster has recommended that I set the price of this protocol at an absolute minimum of $997. And many of the 51,000 patients have already told me that they would have happily paid triple that after seeing the results for themselves. And frankly, I would have sold everything I own to save my wife from a future of blindness. But as you probably realize, the last thing on my mind when I began this journey was making money. And it's certainly not an incentive now. My goal is to help as many people as possible to achieve perfect vision once again, to feel free from worry and fear and no longer be dependent on deceitful eye care industry whose so-called solution will only ever make your eyesight worse. So no, I'm not going to ask you to pay anything like $997 for the Outback Vision protocol, despite its true value being many multiples of that. And I'm not going to ask you for half that figure either, or even a quarter of that for that matter. Because I mean, the truth is, all I'm trying to do here is cover my costs and keep this website running for as long as I can, so as many people as possible can benefit. And the last thing I want is for a price to be a factor in your decision. So if you click on the button below right now, you can pick up the complete Outback Vision protocol for the price that you see below. That's it. It's a one-time payment. You get everything today. And if you're a little skeptical that this can work for you, I completely understand. I mean, after all, you've been lied to and manipulated for your entire life, believing that corrective lenses are your only option. Because of course, the $36 billion optometry industry will never tell you that there's a quick, easy, and natural way to restore your vision, because nobody would ever need a pair of glasses again. So here's what I'm going to do. To prove to you that this protocol works, and you have absolutely nothing to worry about, I'm going to give you a 60-day risk-free money-back guarantee. If you don't experience a dramatic improvement in your vision, or you simply change your mind for any reason at all, then all you have to do is email me at the address provided in the members area, and I'll refund your entire investment with no questions asked and no hard feelings. Plus, if you do decide that it's just not for you, I'll even let you keep the entire program just to say thanks for giving it a try. I mean, I can't say fairer than that, right? But a risk-free guarantee isn't all that you'll be getting. Order today, and you will also receive the Outback Vision Protocol Home Eye Test Kit worth $47. This comprehensive package comes complete with eye charts and simple home-based vision tests so you can monitor your progress and document any improvements that you make. Plus, you'll also receive the Outback Vision Protocol Binaural Beats audio series worth $55.95. Studies have repeatedly shown that binaural beats, which are sounds that are created to alter or enhance electrical frequencies inside the brain, can improve vision. It's also known as brainwave entrainment. This audio series works for all eye conditions, whether it's macular degeneration, cataracts, nearsightedness, by specifically balancing the frequencies of each particular condition and then bringing it back to its normal state, enabling the eye to restore its healthy balance. So, for the small, one-time only investment that you see below, you will get instant access to the Outback Vision Protocol Fast Start Guide and the 21-day protocol, as well as your 2 free bonuses, the Home Eye Test Kit and the Binaural Beats audio series. I mean, that's almost $1,100 of vision-boosting value for the cost of one meal out at an average restaurant. I mean, it's nothing, yet it has the power to restore your vision and give you 20/20 clarity for the rest of your life. And don't forget, your order is fully protected by my 60-day money-back guarantee, which means there is absolutely no risk on your part at all. So to get started, simply click on the order button below, fill in your details, and then you'll be taken to our private members area where you will be able to download the entire program, including the 2 free bonuses, straight to your computer, your smartphone, tablet, all in the next 2 minutes. So right now, you have 2 options. Option 1, you can shut your eyes to everything you've just seen, walk away, and continue to waste your money on corrective lenses that can't, won't, and never will improve your eyesight. And you can accept the inevitable, that the health of your eyes and your vision is going to deteriorate further to the point where you're diagnosed with macular degeneration, cataracts, or even worse, you become clinically blind and it's just too late to do anything at all. And if you don't think anything like this will ever happen to you, you need to open your eyes. Every 5 seconds, someone in the world goes blind. I mean, that's a whopping 7 million people every year. And believe me, you're not immune. Every single second, the human body is being attacked by damaging environmental and dietary toxins that are releasing destructive free radicals that wreak havoc on your eyesight, and no glasses prescription will ever protect you from that. I mean, do you really want to play fast and loose with something as important as your eyesight, of that of your families, for the sake of a few dollars? Do you really want to run the risk of blindness where you become a burden to your family, or worse, you end up in a care home, frightened, alone, unable to enjoy even the simplest of pleasures? So let me ask you again, do you really want to sit there and do nothing and continue to allow these poisonous free radicals to eat away at your eyesight until you can no longer see your children, your grandchildren, or even your own face in the mirror? This is a frightening reality facing more and more Americans every year, and there's a high chance that it could become your reality too if you decide just to carry on as you are. Or there's option 2. And let's face it, really, it's the only option you have. I mean, right now, I'm giving you the chance to not only protect your eyesight for many years to come, but actually reverse any damage that's already been caused. You can enjoy crystal clear 20/20 vision once again and save hundreds or even thousands of dollars on future eye care costs in the process. And you can do it all from the comfort of your own home in as little as 21 days from now. Just imagine how that would feel. Imagine waking up each morning to find that your vision is getting clearer and sharper day by day. Being able to see the leaves on the trees or read a car number plate from 50 yards away. Imagine the added confidence you'll feel to be free from corrective lenses, to be able to read the tiniest of small print, or even enjoy a sunny day without forking out more money for prescription sunglasses. Imagine not having to worry anymore about your eyesight continually getting worse and that you might soon lose your sight completely. Remember, your vision is one of the most important things you'll ever own, and right now it's disappearing like a runaway train. This is your chance to put the brakes on before it's too late. Thanks to the pioneering and 100% natural protocol, my wife Lindsay has been saved from certain blindness. And more than 51,000 Americans have restored their sight in just a matter of days. And this is your chance to join them, but time is running out. This website has already been taken down multiple times, and there's only so long I can keep fighting a multi-billion-dollar industry. So I really urge you to take this opportunity while you still can before this site disappears for good. So make the right decision. Make the only decision you can make, both for yourself and your family. Hit the button below and put the Outback Vision Protocol to the test completely risk-free for a full 60 days and start seeing the world the way it was meant to be seen. Click on the order button below, and I'll see you in the members area. Still here? No problem. I mean, if you're still a little unsure about everything you've just seen, I completely understand. I mean, after all, no optometrist who wants to continue receiving a paycheck will ever tell you the truth about the real cause of vision loss, that corrective lenses do more harm than good, and that are now clinically proven natural ingredients shown to improve and restore vision and protect the health of your eyes for life. So if you have any questions, here are some of the most common ones that I get asked, which I hope will give you all the information that you need to make an informed decision. So the first question is, how does this protocol work? So to quickly explain, every single recipe found in this protocol contains a proprietary formula consisting of the essential 8. That is, the perfect amounts and combinations of the 8 nutrients and vitamins shown to eliminate damaging free radicals from the eye and allow the retina, macula lens, cornea, and optic nerve to function in their optimal state. These recipes were inspired by a U.S. Marines training exercise with the Aboriginal Norforce unit in the Australian outback, whose eyesight has been shown to be 4 times sharper than ours. Countless studies published in peer-reviewed medical journals have since proven beyond any doubt that unlike the standard American diet, the crucial nutrients and vitamins in the Aboriginal diet protect their eyes from free radical damage, giving them this so-called super sight. And using this research, David Lancaster, as an independent medical researcher, was able to develop a formula 3 times more powerful than the original recipe that was given to me by Bungie out of the Norforce unit soldiers. So if you want a proven way to reverse your vision loss and protect and improve your eyesight for years to come, these recipes are all you'll ever need. And the other question is, Bill, if this protocol is so good, why hasn't my optometrist told me about it? Well, as I explained a little earlier, it's not in the optometry industry's interest to publicize any of this research. I mean, after all, if people knew how to maintain and improve the health of their eyes through inexpensive and natural means, they wouldn't need new prescriptions, which would pretty much cripple the eye care industry overnight. Remember, their business model relies on your eyesight getting worse year after year. And thanks to continuous free radical damage, coupled with your eyes becoming dependent on corrective lenses, that's exactly what has been happening. See, the good news is that the protocol does the exact opposite. It reverses damage to the retina and the macula, and then supports and improves the health of your eyes, including the lens, the cornea, and optic nerve, by giving them the essential 8 nutrients and vitamins they need to function at their very best. Will this work for me? Yes, absolutely. I mean, of course, each individual case is different, but as you've seen throughout this presentation, the protocol is scientifically proven to protect, support, and improve eye health and restore vision, whether you're suffering from macular degeneration, cataracts, diabetic retinopathy, astigmatism, or even near or farsightedness. Plus, it has already worked for over 51,000 people. But if by chance it doesn't work for you, which is incredibly unlikely due to the huge amount of clinical data and case studies that says it will, you're protected by my 60-day money-back guarantee. So really you have nothing to lose. And you can even keep the program just to say thank you for giving it a try. That is how confident I am in the quality and effectiveness of the protocol. How long will it take to see results? Well, during our study of 127 volunteers, 93% of participants achieved 20/20 vision within 32 days. And as you know, my own wife, Lindsay, achieved the same feat in just 21 days. But as I said, everybody's different, and some people may take longer to respond to the protocol than others. But if you stick with it, I guarantee you'll see dramatic improvements in your vision. Will my details be secure? Yes, I can assure you that they will be. Our ordering system benefits from the state-of-the-art encryption technology. So when you place your order with us, your information is 100% safe. So really, there's absolutely no need to worry. How long will the protocol be available for? In answer to that question, I don't know. Of course, I want to keep this website running for as long as I can, but it's already been taken offline. And sadly, I don't have the finances or the resources to keep fighting this battle forever. The optometry industry is a $36 billion market. Believe me, they're angry as hell that this video is online. They've already lost over 51,000 customers, and every minute it stays online, they're losing more. So I urge you to take this opportunity while you still can and order the Outback Vision Protocol today before the presentation gets taken down for good. So go ahead, click on the order button below, fill in your details. You'll be taken through our private members only area where you'll be able to access the entire program, including the 2 free bonuses I mentioned, for a full 60 days completely risk-free. This has been Bill Campbell, and I look forward to hearing your success story very soon.